for the call.
Gates back and away they go. The waiting game lived up to its name and was rather slowly away. Also rather tardy out the boxes was Greek Giant as they make their way through the early stages of the Unibet horse racing betting operator, the restricted novice. And it's Wadeka Gomez that goes on to, in second position, Woodstock, the market leader, who's got a nice posse early. Tempered Soul, another one of the market leaders. The yellow cap is relatively prominent, but just taking a bit of a hold. Then Sapodine, the green cap of Noble Sovereign, trying to float down into a more prominent position. The green and yellow colours, Mrs. Van Hopper is in danger of approaching the turn quite wide. Then Krizoff, followed then by the waiting game, and then after that Exquisite Beauty. Towards the rear of the field, Port Toro. Also towards the back of the field at the moment is Our Land, and right at the rear is Magnuson as they make the turn at the top of the track. They're going to be heading inside the final 4 furlongs very shortly. And it's Woodstock, having got to the front, has just steadied things up a little bit, leads to Noble Sovereign racing in second. Then up the inside, Wadeka Gomez, the yellow and black sleeves, is in third. Sapodine's going all right, the check sleeves in fourth, followed then up the inside by Tempered Soul, who's in fifth. Aussie Mystic, the black and maroon jacket, tries to get a little bit closer. They're then followed by Mrs. Van Hopper, Krizoff and the rest. They've swung for home, heading on down towards the final 2.5, and it's Woodstock and Charles Bishop out in front, but now Noble Sovereign is drawn alongside. Then Wadeka Gomez, Tempered Soul is now trying to get involved over on the far side, and then after that Aussie Mystic trying to stay on, but it's Woodstock who's bossed this race just about throughout, who leads as they go inside the final furlong to Noble Sovereign, who's trying to throw down a challenge. Wadeka Gomez battling back, and then Tempered Soul the far side, but it's Woodstock who's finding a bit more out in front here and racing up towards the line. Woodstock has done it nicely for favourite backers. Tight for second there between Wadeka Gomez, who's possibly just got that over in third spot. Noble Sovereign, who ran pretty well, and that was close for fourth.
Short price favourite goes in. Woodstock had the weight to give away, but no problem. Always well positioned under Charlie Bishop from stall 11. Got a great spot. It's tight for second. Wadeka Gomez might have edged that from Noble Sovereign, who's run a good race and tried to put it up to the favourite, but ultimately he was too good. And Woodstock are drifting 5-4 on favourite, having been as low as 13-8 on at points, has justified his favouritism in no uncertain terms. And Charlie Bishop, this was a really well judged ride, and the rest of them, while they all queued up to have a crack, they couldn't quite get to grips with him. At this point you were just wondering what was left with Noble Sovereign, who travelled well into the race under Oisin Murphy, has clearly benefited from that experience, that initial experience, and stepping up in trip, and has done nice work. I wonder if she just maybe paid for it late, just putting in the challenge where she has. Wadeka Gomez potentially picking up a few pieces. Tempered Soul has run a decent enough race on debut, may have just held on from the fast finishing Krizoff, but not for the first time. Nick, experience has come to the fore, and Charlie Bishop has got that absolutely spot on Woodstock.
Yes, who is winning races and has now made it 2 from 3 for the career. There was support ahead of the debut and has now won the 2 races on the poly track. I think, as we take it back to the start, the winner coming out of stall 11. George, it's fair to say that through the newcomers, Tempered Soul and Krizoff, they've been out of the frame but run well, and then Noble Sovereign and Wadeka Gomez, those that were backed each way, running well as well. I think there's enough to take out of this race, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. You watched Charlie Bishop from his wide draw, was keen to go forward, and has taken his time to gradually ease over. He's sort of been drafted over with Franny Norton on Wadeka Gomez, and it was a smooth ride. You can see Oisin Murphy from his really wide draw in 14 on his filly Noble Sovereign. Again, was able to draft up smoothly. It definitely paid to be on the front end. You could see when Charlie got to the front, his horses pricked his ears, and they've gone pretty sensible around the top end.
Yeah, 11 and 14, as you said, the first 2. From this point onwards, it was about controlling things as he did, Charles Bishop. I don't think they've done anything madcap in the race either, is it? It's paid, or Charles Bishop's paid to do it his way, to do it the way that he saw it.
For sure, and I think it's massively paid to be towards the front end. You can really upgrade.
Yeah.
Krizoff finishing effort from that position, and stayed on well late on, and really got the hang of things. He's probably the one to take out the unraced ones.
We did, yeah. If you say exactly the context that the horses involved, or the winner and the second, third and fourth as well, or when they sorted it out with the photo finish, were in the podium positions at that point, you can see there that the horse in the Hambleton Silks was making great gains, quite a generous stride on him up the centre as well. He had targets to run down, and run down he did.
Yeah, he stayed on well. Kieran Schumacher gave him a couple of flicks in the backhand. Still galloping up in the air slightly, and really got the hang of things late on.
Yeah.
Albeit the field was slightly coming back to him, but it's a very, very encouraging debut, and it's not the deepest race, but I would have thought he's going to take a big jump forward.
It's not, and he was the last off the bridle, just about the winner under Charles Bishop, and he's now carving out a pretty good CV for himself early doors as well. He's won 2 from the first 3. It's a really good start. How's he going to be rated after this, do you think?
That'll be interesting because he's been extremely well placed in the setup of things, and I don't think he's going to be really. It's always difficult to win under a penalty, but he's got the job done, and I don't think he's going to get a really high mark for this.
They should. Machine Murphy, as you rightly pointed out beforehand, had dropped down to the 8-7 for the ride on the Sir Mark Todd horse. Tempered Soul over on the far side with the champion jockey back in action for just the second time in the UK. William Buick, enough reasons to go forward with?
Yeah, he ran well for a good way and just got tired inside the last half furlong. Noble Sovereign was beautifully placed throughout under Oisin Murphy, and she's taken a big step forward from debut, and I would have thought she'll be able to win a race for sure.
Yeah. Right, we can confirm the result for you in just a few moments' time. Bringing back in the winner, the Jack Cannon and Charlie Bishop as well. And the rider, as I see it, I think he's done for the day as well. Dead heat print for second between Noble Sovereign and also Wadaka Gomez. 2 horses who were supported at each way prices. Nothing can separate them. There you go. Not too far back was Christoph, and so too Tempered Soul, the newcomers in 4th and 5th in whatever order that was. 4 to 5 the price Woodstock was. That's me done. There's going to be Tom Ball coming in for the rest of the Kempton card.